Oh, I need to sneeze. Hi.
I got a funny feeling. I got a funny feeling. Yeah.
Hello people, I'm Jaby Koay, joined by Achara KIRK.
Hi.
We're looking at a Verdas video from Verdas Comedy. You guys, if you haven't subscribed to his channel already and you like his comedy, please subscribe to his channel. Just scroll down, there's a link in the description below for the original video that we're about to watch. And you can give that video an upvote. And please subscribe here as well, bell icon, all notifications. So that video that we're about to watch, I put the cart before the horse a little bit there. Jokes for woke and offended people. Verdas,
Wow,
stand
okay.
up. Pranav Bhat, what?
What?
All right, here we go.
This comedian and Bollywood star's first comedy special was filmed in New York and New Delhi, but curiously, not in any of New York's delis. Please welcome...
Oh, Howie. Oh, Howie. Why would you do that?
That was a terrible joke. That's so bad.
Okay, Namaste Montreal. We feeling good here? My name is Veerdas. I am from Mumbai in India. Do you guys know India? Yes? It's where all the Canadians come from. I should clarify. I'm not of Indian origin. I'm not an immigrant. I'm actually just from India. You know, all the local Indians that you meet over here, I'm the reason they left. It is good to be here in the West.
I'm not getting the jokes, so you?
What?
What does he mean? Why did they leave?
Because they don't like Indian people from India.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah,
oh,
so
I
they
see.
left.
I see.
Yeah.
Apologize, but that's what we call you in India, the West. To us, this continent is, how do I put this? Americans and Canadians to us are kind of like Indians and Pakistanis. You know,
Where are we going with this? Chill.
keep your panties on, relax, wait. You're very similar people with very different life expectancies. But there are subtle differences. For instance, Americans have basketball, you have basketball. Americans have beer, you have beer. And yet, when I was crossing the border into Canada, no cages.
Oh.
Not one cage. I'm sorry, I realize that joke is dark and uncomfortable, but in my defense, so are the cages.
Oh my god.
He's just doubling down.
Montreal might be the most comfortable immigration experience I've ever had. There was no paperwork, no questions. The guy just gave me a kiss on my cheek. He was like...
What?
That's it. He was just like, welcome home. I was like, but I'm just visiting. He's like, that is what they all say. I thought, is that accent offensive? The thing is, I don't know. I live in India. We don't know. Getting offended is something privileged people do. And we just got privileged last week. It's very exciting. Now in the West, you've had privilege for years. You've taken taking offense to another level. Like Americans can get offended on other people's behalf.
Yes, that's true.
Right,
It's
yeah.
a very American thing. I'm offended for you.
I'm not
What you went
offended.
through is so stressful. I'm gonna take the day off. But you're very proactive. You're all about justice. You see something wrong on the streets, you take your phone out and you film it. What you're doing, sir, is wrong. You're gonna go viral. There are gonna be consequences. Every time an American films a hate crime, in the background you can see an Indian just walking to work. I didn't see anything. I don't have my green card yet.
I just want to get deported.
Yeah.
In the West, you're very, what's the word? Woke. That's a word I learned, woke. That's the reason I travel, to learn new words. It's not to expand my audience. I'm Indian. My audience is expanding as we speak right now. I asked a college kid, I'm like, what does it mean to be woke? She was like, to be woke means to realize, to recognize, to organize, and then to vocalize. That describes everything from a book club to a Nazi rally, all right? I want to be one of these comedians who can write woke jokes for woke people. I've tried. Do you want to hear them, yeah?
Okay.
Knock, knock. Well, if you need to hear the sound of somebody's voice before you let them into your apartment, what does that say about your elitist privilege, huh?
What is that a comment on?
Well, it's...
That ended abruptly.
Yeah.
Whoa, that just ended abruptly. I didn't realize it was over. That ended it before it began.
But that's the whole thing, isn't it? When you're woke, you're like, oh no, I love and accept everyone, and like,
oh, I gotcha.
Racism sucks, and like I'm so offended for you, and I want to learn to be an ally and all that. I mean, that's all good things, right? But it's just, I guess, kind of the way you go about it. But yeah, that is like a very, woke knock knock joke. It's like, oh, if you need to see who's there before you let me in.
Yeah.
Then you're not really woke, are you?
Yeah.
Yeah. Damn.
What he said about people getting offended on behalf of other people is a very real thing over here. But it's like there's this threshold you gotta understand. There's a certain degree where it's good to go to battle for those who are suffering from an injustice. That's good to do, I think.
Good. Yeah.
But like to get outright offended on the Twitters and whatnot, and like I'm offended at you, whatever, doing whatever. It's like, all right, cool. I saw on a dating app once on a profile this girl going, as a white woman, I feel it's my duty to dismantle white supremacy and all the racism that comes from white people.
That was on a dating profile.
Yeah, I was like, you're putting that out there on your profile that doesn't actually say a whole lot. Like that's how much of a statement that is, because there's 3 paragraphs to describe this individual, and that's paragraph number 2. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
Like BLM is a huge part of her fight. Black Lives Matter. I mean, that's all well and good. Like I think that it's just that should be standard to believe, Black Lives Matter too. That should be just like standard to understand and agree with that. But to make that your entire identity is something that is happening a lot right now, and I think that stems largely from we don't have a war. Like, you have a lot of privileged people who don't have to fight to stay alive, and they have the time. But you have this like tribal warring gene, this this thing in your DNA that says you gotta fight, and we have nothing to fight for, and so we look for something to fight for. Sports is not enough. We need more things to fight for. To feel indignant about.
It's true. I think it's just there were so many different layers to it, right? And like I really appreciate when white people are all like, oh, I want to be an ally, but there's a difference between wanting to be an ally and shutting up and listening and trying to learn and understand and be better and do better than going out there and being like, look at me and all my white privilege, and like let me save you. It's like, no, can you just listen maybe? And let's start there.
Well, the thing is, there's no like simple answer to any of this.
No.
It's just we are trying to fit everything into a box because that's easier to do, but it's very complicated and gray.
Yeah, it really is. It's like I don't even know, honestly, I don't even really know how to talk about it properly. Like, I don't feel like I'm smart enough or that I know enough. His
whole joke about going into Canada and there not being any cages and whatnot was very interesting.
Wow.
I mean, there's so much to unpack in that joke that there just isn't time to even laugh about it, because you're so caught up in like thinking about it. It's like, that's not even funny. That's heavy.
Yeah, and he set it up so well as well, because he's all like, there's so many similarities. You've got baseball.
Yeah.
You've got this, you've got that. But when I came to Canada, there were no cages. And you're just like, oh my God, yeah, that is such a deeply dark and shameful thing about the United States. That's really inhumane to do that to people and to families. It's like, they're not animals.
Right. Well, I mean, I guess the question is, I don't want to get into that. Like, I don't know what the solutions are in those particular instances. You have a lot of people who are crossing illegally. Like, what is the solution? That's the thing. Is like, I'm not a politician. I'm not a economist. I'm not a city planner. Like, I don't know how the solution to any of this stuff. Obviously, it's awful and gross and terrible that families are getting split apart and whatnot. Yeah. That sucks. I don't know what we're supposed to do. The whole cage thing was just very, very deep and dark. I'm like, oh God, why did you go there?
But he does. That's the thing. It's Veer Das. He goes there.
But that's where he goes now. That's his brand of comedy now. I think in the last 1.5 to 2 years, that's where his comedy has gone. It's just like, how can I just hit you in the gut
Well, it's like he sets you up so you're like
In the
chuckling.
jugular, yeah.
Yeah, you're chuckling and you're like, oh, I feel comfortable. I feel like I'm in safe hands. And then he's like, darkness,
Yeah.
politics,
Yeah.
stuff to think about. And then you're all like,
Right.
It's like the Trojan horse of comedy.
Yes. Okay, I'll say this. You know, I think that Verdas is quite brave to go and put himself out there to make these statements.
Yeah.
It's the thing that I sort of have mixed feelings about is it's like politics is everywhere and you can't get away from it. You know, there's no safe space to not talk about politics anymore. And I think that's what makes me unhappy in terms of this conversation. It's like, if you go to Instagram, there's politics. If you go on Facebook, there's politics. If you go on YouTube, there's politics. And you're just constantly inundated with, let me go to a comedy show with my significant other just to, eject, unplug from all these politics. More politics. It's just everywhere,
But I think traditionally, comedy and comedians have always infused politics into their shows.
I think it's more prevalent now than it was before.
Okay.
You know, I that's my uninformed opinion. I haven't watched all the comedy specials that have ever existed, but like trying to look back on it, not everything was about Bill Clinton and the cigar. It's like there was a lot of other stuff going on in the world.
But isn't it also like a lot of the time jokes are made about like racial politics, sexual politics, and
Sure.
like all of that stuff.
Yeah,
Maybe
I
not
guess.
necessarily like the politics of government.
But I think the idea was that it also made you laugh. And
Right.
it didn't just make you sad. That's the thing. It's like, it just, when he said the cages thing, I was just sad. I'm like, well, that's not even funny. I'm just sad now.
Yeah.
Getting offended is something privileged people do.
I agree with that statement that getting offended is something privileged people do, because when you are not in a privileged position, you're just busy with trying to survive.
Yeah. Agreed.
And
Yeah.
a lot of this like horribly offensive stuff, you just kind of laugh at. You just sort of,
Or you're just like, well,
that's just the world,
That's,
you know?
Yeah, that's just the world. That's whatever. I just need to get food for myself and my family today.
Yeah.
Like, how am I doing that?
yeah.
I don't have time to worry. Too busy trying to live.
Yeah. Anyway, that was a fun video. It certainly brought a smile to my face. For Das,
Why you make us sad, dude, with the comedies?
he's like entrenched in this. He's entrenched in this mode right now, and
Yeah.
I think pandemic has only exacerbated it. Like he's even more entrenched in this intense dialogue with politics and everything wrong in the
important,
world.
though.
No, I agree.
Yeah.
Verdas is a funny dude.
He is,
but
yeah.
but with this recent stuff we've watched, I haven't been laughing as much as just feeling bad.
Well, he's making us think, right?
Yeah.
That's not necessarily a bad thing, but like we'd like a few more ha-has.
He's more of a George Carlin now, is my opinion.
Right.
Like, because whenever I watched George Carlin, I wasn't laughing. I was just like, oh, okay, yeah, that's
Wow.
okay, cool.
Yeah.
That's a thinky right there. And he just moves, and he's not really concerned with making you laugh. He's just going off on one for an hour.
Right.
You know, he's on a soapbox, and that's, he's got a microphone and he's got a soapbox and he's using it. So that's where Verdas is at right now, and more power to him. The fact that he keeps doing it, even though is putting him in jeopardy. He's like, he sees toes and he steps on all of them. He's the toe stepper. So you guys, thanks so much for hanging out. Hopefully you enjoyed some of that, and subscribe to Verdas for more thinky stuff. I'm Jaby Koay. This is
Achara KIRK.
Peace out.